Hey guys, it's Lemming Rush. Today I'm going to be showing you an 8,500 damage carry by Nuclear King from the clan Wonka. Now, this is one of those games where the guy's top tier and it's going to work out really perfectly for him. Of course it's going to work out perfectly for him. He gets an 8,500 damage game in a tier 9 tank. But what I think I'd like to do is I'd like to point out why his position works in this replay and kind of give you some advice on the map Fjords if, you're in a situation like this guy is in. So, right off the bat, Nuclear King is in his Object 430. The Object 430 is characterized by really relatively strong armor, a really good turret, and a really punchy gun. So what he's going to do, because he's in 3-5-7 matchmaking, is he's going to play extremely aggressively. He's going to bring his tank to the mid. Normally, this is a play that I will never make because I consider it to be a bit suicidal. For example, you can't run away from the mid, but he's going to be able to make this play because, well, he's top tier and he does have, like, a couple teammates with him. So this is a play that he can make given his tank and the enemy team lineup. Like, they've got nothing that's really going to contest him apart from the other enemy 430. So he ends up taking the middle. Now, this is a very common play for people to make. It often ends badly in my experience for the vehicles who sit here because what happens is they're only able to reasonably get shots on people who go to the north. So this position right in the middle of the map is really good if you can shoot at people in A9. The problem is when people like that Object 430 are able to push up past A9 and then this position won't have shots on him, that's when this position sort of becomes useless. But that's not going to happen in this game because he actually has a presence on his zero line. So if you're going to take a tank to the mid of this map, like Nuclear King has done right here, it's going to become a really strong position if you have tanks at A9 who are capable of actually winning that side. So that seems to be why this play is going to allow him to win the north. Now, one thing you're going to notice is he's going to make a really aggressive poke on this AMX M4 right here. The AMX bounces. He's able to get away with that because the enemy has only 2 TDs, and then, like, he's a tier 9 medium. He's got a lot of armor in this context. They're shooting up at his angled upper front plate. He's going to be able to make that work, no problem. Next thing is a VK. Like, these are tanks shooting at him from the north. What he's done here, this is how he's using his position, because he is in a Russian medium. Normally, Russian mediums don't have very good gun depression. He's going to be able to tilt his tank slightly to the left. You notice, look at this tilt right here. This land is tilted like this, and that's going to allow him to get the gun depression to shoot at the VK and whatnot. If he was slightly over to his right, for example, where the land is actually sloped in the other direction, he would not be able to make those shots count, and that's what he's done right there. He takes a look at his map. He notices that there's an AT7, an IKV, and a Black Prince behind him. He does a really nice thing here. It asks the WZ to fall back so he can get the shot. I personally probably would have just rammed the guy to get him out of the way. Not into the open, but I would have just driven past him. So we know for a fact that Nuclear King is a Canadian, not a fake Canadian like myself, but he's a genuine Canadian. So right here, he's side scraping. This is not something that I knew this position was good for. I noticed that, of course, people in the Black Prince's position would be able to prevent Nuclear King from running away from this type of position, and that's obviously part of the problem with this position, but you'll notice he's relatively held down. He's been side scraping off this rock, and that's going to be what allows him to make it work. Now, he whiffs the shot on this AMX M445. He actually tracked the far track with that shot, which is impressive, but it is what it is. I'm not going to criticize his shooting. He's continuing to side scrape. That's the right play. The AT7 gets a shot into him. He should have obviously shot at the AMX M4 right there. He gets lit on fire, and that's kind of where this game starts to go south for him, because he's, now he's a 2-shot for basically every enemy on the team, and if someone high rolls, he's a 1-shot for them. So this is where he begins to get lucky. He's down to 2,600 damage. He's going to make a really good play. He pokes on this AMX M445 while the guy is reloading. A lot of people wouldn't make that play because they would have felt like they were driving into the open. He made the right play. That was absolutely what he should have done. The AMX M4 looked like he was lagging. He just drove forwards way too far, got himself killed, and now he's in a position where he's got no driver and he's a 2-shot, and the enemy's winning by 2 tanks. And if you look at the map, it looks like they might possibly be able to win the north, and they're certainly going to be winning the south. So how do you deal with a situation like this? Well, if you're a 2-shot and you're in the middle of a map, what you need to do is you need to sort of clear the side that's of biggest prominence. Now, right now, he doesn't have shots on the south. That's obviously the biggest threat because he can just reverse if he wants to disengage the north. So what he's doing is he is shooting at the north. By shooting at the VK, that's going to free up the Conqueror, and if the Conqueror is going to be useful, which he should just assume his teammates are going to be useful if they're freed up, that's the right play. Now, it's like I said, it's right because it frees up a teammate. Now, he notices that he's getting flanked, and this is where this position seems to gain a lot of its power. So he's able to affect the north extremely easily from his position, and by going here, he's also able to defend against the south. Now, the enemy plays impressively badly in this position, but the way this guy uses this position is incredible in my opinion. He's looking for shots in the gap right there. He would be able to shoot through that gap if his tank was taller or if he had reversed a bit. He gets a shot into the IS-3, the IS-3 misses, and now he's in this situation where there's 3 tanks pushing in through his south, the Conqueror in the north is cleared up, and he's going to be able to use the mid to deal with it. And this is why I think the mid, I'm going to start playing the mid probably a lot more frequently on this map, because the strength that this position offers is insane. What he does is he just sits here. The enemy has to push into him. He's in a defensive location. He has some sort of cover by that Conqueror up north, so he doesn't have to worry about people flanking his Black Prince, for example. And all he has to do is just wait until people like that IS-3 move into the open, and that's pretty much what he's going to do. So I can fast forward this because a lot of it's just sitting around. The IS-3 drives into him, misses his shot. He gets a shot into the IS-3. The WZ-120 hits him, and then he notices the Centurion Mark 1 behind him. So once again, he's going to make a poke on the Centurion. I think that's a bit risky, however it is safe. Like, it's amazing he hasn't been clicked so far, which is something I did want to comment on. What I think this poke is I think it's like high risk, low reward. I think he's poking on a Centurion. The Centurion probably is going to bounce him because he's shooting up, but my question is, where's the CDC? You know, if the Centurion gets lucky and pens him and then the CDC shoots him, that's bad. And obviously he took a hit right there, which makes him a one shot for that M46 Patton. If the M46 Patton had the 390 alpha gun, which he doesn't, the M46 is stock, it's like this guy's now a one shot for the stock M46 Patton, and before he was a two shot. So he's in a rough position. By taking that hit, the Centurion died. I don't think he really needed to, but that's a bit nitpicking right there. So the M46 is alive. He's going to make a poke. This is aggressive because he doesn't exactly know where the Tiger P is. It's fine. The way he does this is a bit weird. He kind of just drives into the open. He gets really lucky. The M46 Patton bounces. Now, I don't know if he remembered that the M46 was stock. He possibly did and made that play educationally, but this guy bounced 2 shots right there, and he was a one shot, but he did get lucky. Again, he's going to get lucky here. The CDC decides not to shoot him and just drive past him. Like, that's luck. You know, it is what it is. You can't really fault someone for getting lucky. I think he should have expected to get shot by the M46 and just not taking those trades, but, you know, that's a bit self-evident that I don't really need to commentate on it. The way he deals with the T-32 next is what I find the most impressive. So, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of things have happened here. The T-32 is actually really high HP, but one thing I do want to point out is that he hasn't been shot by Artie all game. So the question is, where the hell is Artie? Because that's reasonable. And Artie's going to make a play that is a bit surprising, but meanwhile, there's this T-32 in front of him, and he's actually a one-shot for that 32. So he makes a bit of a misplay. He should have fallen back immediately, in my opinion. He put the shot into the T-32. If the T-32 was, like, good, he would have just shot him and killed him right there. And luckily, the T-32 isn't the greatest. And what he's doing is he's falling back, and he did track the T-32 right there. So this is the right play, because when he falls back, the T-32 doesn't have shots in him, and that gives his Conqueror the opportunity to actually help him out. The Conqueror picks up his fifth kill right there, and then they join up to form a platoon. And what's going to happen now is they have to deal with a Conqueror. A Tiger P. The Conqueror and the Object 430 have to deal with a Tiger P who's on cap, and the Tiger P actually has quite a bit of HP. So this is one of those situations that you would expect to win, but it's very easy to throw. Like, I've thrown so many situations against tanks like this. So what he's going to do is he's going to approach this absolutely correctly. He's going to join this Conqueror. The Conqueror is going to be held down who's doing this correctly. And what Nuclear King is going to do is he's going to drive, you see this ridge right here? What a lot of people will do in a Russian medium, even though it's a bad idea, a tank without gun depression, is they'll want to get to the higher ground to shoot at the enemy tanks. So what they'll do is they'll drive up here. But the thing is, Russian tanks don't have gun depression, so they can't do that. So what Nuclear King does is he stays to the right of this ridge, and that allows him to remain held down without having to fight his gun depression. You see, he puts a shot into the Tiger P. I don't know if that was HE. That did 270 damage, which could have just been the lowest possible. It looks like it was HE based on the mark. He manages to pen the Tiger P's turret right there, which is good. In my opinion, he should have used gold to reset. It is a Tiger P after all, but it is what it is. He's going to continue to move forward, and you're going to see he's not taking a fight that would screw over his gun depression. The way he's playing this land, it's like he does not have to fight his gun depression, and that's ultimately what's going to allow him to get his 6th kill and his platoon's 11th kill for this game. So that's the result. I mean, I thought it was really well played. I didn't really choose it because, I mean, it is a tier 9 shooting at tier 7s, but of course, like, it's an 8,200 damage game. I think he played it really well. I think it shows the power of the mid, specifically the way that the mid can deal with the southern and the northern flanks at pretty much the same time. So what I think you should maybe consider when you're playing on this map is taking the mid if you're top tier, because if you can do that, you can defend against both the north and the southern pushes, and that's just really strong. So that's my opinion so far. Let's go take a look at the end plates. I'm actually going to try this strat in pubs because it looks pretty fantastic. Alright, so this guy got a mastery badge, of course. I'd be surprised if he didn't. He ended up getting a Bilot's medal. I probably just destroyed that. Forgive me. This medal, I'm not going to say its name because I'm going to ruin it, is awarded to players who destroy at least one enemy vehicle and survive the battle to victory, despite receiving at least 5 different critical hits. Oh, that's a cool medal. I didn't realize he received 5 different critical hits. That's pretty amazing. Pierre Bilot, maybe, was a captain in the French army who destroyed 2 Panzerkampfwagen 4s, 11 Panzerkampfwagen 3s, and 2 guns with his... Wow, Jesus, that's a hell of a medal. God damn. You got a Brothers in Arms, a Confederate. All of those seem dwarfed in comparison to this medal right here, below, I'm going to call it. Got that wrong. I'm sure I got it wrong. Anyways, he did 8,341 damage, 6 kills, 1782 base XP, 12,000 credit lost, but he did carry, so that's pretty normal. And he was in a 430, so he fired 37 shots, 26 of them penned. That's kind of to be expected. It is what it is. Anyways, I thought he did well. Like I said, I don't know. I've never played the middle myself. I always kind of considered it to be extremely committal. Like, I don't like to take positions that you can't easily run away from because, you know, I'm not the type of person to rely on my teammates to win. But if you're in 3-5-7 and you end up getting top tier, it's like your chances of winning the flank that you play are incredibly high. So in this instance, when he goes to the mid on this map, it's like, that's pretty good. Like, your chances of winning in that context is extremely high because, well, you're a top tier 430. So I would absolutely consider it if you're top tier. I'm going to give it a try. I think it's got a lot of potential because you can, well, I've already made that point. So I'm going to call the video here. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye-bye.